Hi everybody, this is Oleg. Welcome to Oregon Preparedness. The other day I was talking to a friend of mine, another YouTuber, another fellow prepper, WD Glockandroll, and he said, what about you make a video on preparedness in Ukraine? So I thought about it and I thought that's a great idea. Since Ukraine right now is center of the news, maybe some of you guys would be curious to know what's going on with preparedness in the Ukraine. And so I decided to do it. I'll start with this. I've been in this country for 30 plus years. I left Soviet Union, left my country Ukraine, which used to be part of Soviet Union, in 1989. And back then things were different than they are now. And I'll start with this. Back in 89, in the country, if you go to country, pretty much 99% of households had their own garden, which would be anywhere from 5,000 square feet to an acre or two. People would grow everything, all the vegetables you can think of. People would have their own orchards with apples and plums and apricots and whatever used to grow there, pears. People would have big animals in the country, of course, like cow. Many people would have a cow and they would have their own milk, cheese, all the types of cheeses people would just make. Or they would have a couple of pigs. Pretty much every household also had chickens for the eggs and for poultry. So if you would move closer to the city, on the outskirts of the city, things would continue to be the same. People would have gardens and maybe small orchards, but a lot smaller than in the country because there is less space, obviously. But maybe some people would have still chickens, but no big animals like pigs or cows. And then when you would move into inner city, obviously many people lived in high-rise apartments, and if they lived in the houses in the city, there would really be no land to do anything. But they would have, not everybody, but few people who had extra money, they would have in the country, you could call it bug out location, but it used to be called dacha. And dacha was basically, piece of land, big or small, somewhere on the outskirts of the city or in the country, with a small building on it. And people use it primarily to go there, hang out on the weekends, and also to have their garden. Everybody who had a house, city or country, had a cellar, and in the cellar you would put your supply of potatoes that would last you all winter or all spring until new potatoes come, and all the things that you would can, because all the things you would grow in your garden and in your orchard you would can, because back then everything was seasonal. So if you want to eat strawberries or cherries in the wintertime, you couldn't just go to grocery store and get it. You would be eating the ones that you would can. And that's how things used to be back then. Fast forward to now, and right now I still keep in touch with my family that is still in the Ukraine, and my school friend, I still talk to him a few times a year, several times a year, depends. So I have an idea what's going on there. And in the country, things, I would say, still stay about the same. In the city, they changed a lot. In the city, people who are my age and older, many of them still stick to the same old habits of preparing and canning. In the younger generation, though, they changed for the worse, unfortunately. They rely on the grid, on a system, on just-in-time delivery, because over there right now is just like here. So even my friend, he's my age, he has one of those dachas. I asked him, I says, hey, do you plant a garden? By the way, I would love to do a garden, but I live in an apartment, and at the moment I have my supply in my storages in my house, but I have no way of doing a garden at the moment. But as soon as I can, I will. So he says, no, for what? Everything's in the store. And I'm thinking, man, you're not 20-year-old kid. You know what's going on. You know what can happen. I'll tell you what, one of the reasons, if not the main reason, why ex-Soviet people are preppers without knowing that they're preppers is because Soviet Union went through a terrible war. Now, Second World War started in 1939. It came to Soviet Union in June of 1941, and the war lasted for 4 years. It destroyed a lot of Ukraine, a lot of Russia. So people were just barely getting by, trying to survive. People were growing their gardens while Germans were dumping bombs on them. Because if you don't do your garden, you had to rely just on that. So you had no choice. My grandma told me countless stories. She was a teenager during Second World War. And another event that took place in the Ukraine, some of you might know, in 1929, there was a big famine. It was artificially made famine called Holodomor. No one knows exactly how many people died. They estimate anywhere from 5 to 10 million in the Ukraine from hunger. Some estimates say even 12 million. But beside people dying from hunger, people were actually eating each other. It was, it's in the history that cannibalism took place during Holodomor. People say that Stalin, for whatever reason, was trying to just kill off Ukrainian nation. Whether it's true or not, who knows? Could be true. Anyway, so based on those two facts, Holodomor in 1929, war that started in 1941, people just have it in their blood to prepare. Even ex-Soviet people that live here in the States, they have their pantries full of food. 90% of them have enough food that would last 3-4 months. And there is obviously prepper-minded Ukrainians who are heavier into prepping, or Russians, and those have more. But any given ex-Soviet person has 3 months, 4 months worth of food in their pantry, in their garage. Everybody have 2 or 3 fridges and freezers and stuff like that. So in a way, they are preppers without knowing that they're preppers to an extent. So this war that is about to break out, I have little doubts that it somehow will change. I hope it does somehow. I pray for the miracle. But most likely there will be a conflict. At least, whoever is gonna survive and not get killed in the war, at least we know that either side, on the Russian side or Ukrainian side, they won't die from hunger, at least initially, because everybody have some preps. Anyway, once again, thanks WD Glockandroll for great suggestion. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up for this video, and don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to please ring the notification bell, and I will see you all in the next upload. Thanks for watching.